Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. I'm Bob Matthews. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. Don't forget to mash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. All right, starting with some breaking news today, and we're calling it a Commanders adjacent trade because it does have to do with a player that I don't know if the front office was actually targeting this offseason, but certainly everyone in the chattering class has or was, and that's Jaylen Ramsay. So if you haven't heard, Jaylen Ramsay is on the move. Not to Washington, however. He is off to Pittsburgh as the Dolphins and Steelers have worked out a trade. Ramsay and tight end Jonnu Smith are going to the Steelers. Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to the Dolphins. So you're swapping a cornerback and a tight end for a Pro Bowl safety. Ramsay's going to get $1.5 million raise this season. Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith also really wanted Jonnu Smith, who he has coached in a couple of stops there. So there you go. Everyone that was hoping that Ramsay might be on his way to the nation's capital, you can put that one back on the back burner. Not going to happen. I guess it's a decent trade for both teams. It is kind of interesting. The Steelers are really going all in this year. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Aaron Rodgers, his last year in the NFL, he says, and at 41, 42. I think the Steelers are in that position, it looks like, where they are just chasing one-year stopgaps right now. That's kind of all they've got, so they're doing what they can to give Rodgers the best chance on both sides of the ball to win. Is it going to be enough to get past the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens and the Bengals? I don't think so, but that's the way they're going with it. So at least you don't have to worry about, is Jaylen Ramsay coming here to Washington? That is not going to happen. All right. And as we said, just stop listening to the noise, on all of this stuff. Another one of the reasons that I say that is because I don't know if you saw the news over the weekend, but there's yet another trade rumor that's going out there, and that's that now 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk is unhappy once again with the 49ers and is looking for a trade. And of course, everybody that writes these stories starts to think, oh, hey, how about the Commanders? Maybe they'll swap him for Terry McLaurin, seeing as how they're both, in some sort of a contract negotiation thing. Folks, listen to your Uncle Bob on this one. It's not happening. Whether Brandon Aiyuk is unhappy or not, again, in San Francisco, the 49ers aren't going to let him get away. Certainly. They'll do what they have to make him happy. And again, there is absolutely nothing out there, any credible reporting suggesting that it's even on the drawing board for anybody. Again, what we've said in the past remains true today. We are in between mini camps and training camps. There is not a whole lot going on. People need to write stories. People need clicks. So they come up with these scenarios, figure, hey, if I can write 500-600 words on it, fantastic. But the thing about it is, when you listen to the beat reporters, when you talk to the beat reporters like I do, none of them are saying that they have heard anything about this. Ergo, Brandon Aiyuk, you can just ignore that headline saying Brandon Aiyuk possibly on the way to the Commanders. It is just not happening. But since, this is the time of year where we're getting all of these type of stories, we got another one out there. And yeah, I titled this one, Stay Classy, Philadelphia. And basically, I think you can chalk this up to Philly is gonna Philly. Brandon Graham won a couple of Super Bowls with the Eagles, taking a swipe at Deebo Samuel last weekend, saying that, here's the quote, It's going to be between us two. I wouldn't worry about him. He got to be in shape first. He don't look like he's in shape right now. That's ludicrous. Again, that's just more mileage coming off that one piece of video that you saw on Twitter a couple of weeks ago during the install when Deebo Samuel and everybody else, by the way, was going at it half speed because of the fact that, again, they're installing the offense. Dan Quinn talked about how fast Deebo was on the field, talked about how great he has been since getting here. That is just more trash talk from Philly. What do you expect? But there was one thing that was interesting in that quote that I did take away from it and that I liked. And that's when Brandon Graham said, it's going to be between us two, meaning Philly and Washington. That's something you haven't seen a lot of in recent years. It's been, they got lucky, upstart, everything went right for them. Here's a guy who, again, despite the comment where I'm like, hey, stay classy, Philadelphia, Brandon Graham, he's earned the right to trash talk because he can back it up. And if he thinks coming into this season that it's between the Eagles and the Commanders for the division, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. I would take that. And it leads me into my final point about why it is another clue that things have changed. You have Brandon Graham saying it's going to be between us two. And when you listen to people talk about the 2025 season, they say they've changed the way they talk about this team when prognosticating, saying in the past you would say, well, if this happens and if that happens, if the offensive line holds up, if so-and-so doesn't get injured, if such and such can play as well as they did last year. You're not hearing that now. Now you're hearing, I expect X, Y, and Z. I expect the line to be better with the moves they've made in the offseason. I expect this player to be better because he has another year in the league. Mikey Sanderstill, for instance. I expect Jaylen Daniels to play even better than he did last year. It's not something you have heard a lot of in the nation's capital, and it's very interesting to hear that with the Commanders. And I think it just goes to show you that this team has both the attention and the respect of the league now, and it's okay to believe in a second straight trip to the playoffs. In fact, I kind of expect it at this point. All right, we got to get out of here. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. See you again tomorrow with some ceiling and floor predictions on Jayden Daniels in his second year. Some comps that I think you're really going to like. That's coming up tomorrow. Again, thanks for joining us. Remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.